Hello everybody, welcome to Blue Marble Science. You know, my three favorite globe deniers, Nathan Oakley, Quantum Eraser, and Sleeping Warrior, still don't understand air. Why is that not surprising? Warning, severe facial and monitor damage alert is in effect. Get out those oven mitts, push the monitors back out of punching range. And Gladys? Let's light this dumpster fire and have a little fun. A couple of weeks ago, I was on the JG Gonzalez live show. And by the way, if you haven't checked out Jose's show, you ought to. There's a link on the screen, and I'll leave it in the comments section. Also, he has some pretty lively discussions about flat Earth and other things. But on that particular day, Jose was asking each panel member one simple question, and he wanted an answer in less than 60 seconds. So let's play what we said.
Big Blue, how come we have gas pressure without a container? You hear that question asked. What do you think about it?
Well, gas pressure requires a container. If you're talking about pressurized gas, what you have here is a false equivalence. You've got Quantum Eraser trying to say gas pressure in a container is the same as atmospheric pressure, and they are not. The pressures are similar in nature. They're created by gas molecules bouncing off of surfaces, but the method of generating that pressure is totally different. The atmosphere depends strictly on gravity. Gravity is the container in that case, if you want to think of it that way. But it's not even really that. It's simply the acceleration of gravity pulling down on a mass of the gas, just like it pulls down, just like it accelerates everything else toward the Earth. That's all. That's all you need.
Well, that seemed like a pretty straightforward response to me, but of course QE didn't understand a word of it. So let's listen to QE as he tries to dissect this. QE, you're up. Oh, and by the way, stop doing that. You're going to get stuck in that position.
Hillbilly Blue Balls, the Redneck Retard, dated December 30th, 2019.
Big Blue, how come we have gas pressure without a container? You hear that question asked. What do you think about it?
Well, gas pressure requires a container. If you're talking about pressurized gas, what you have here is a false equivalence.
So now gas pressure requires a container. Haven't you made a video titled Gas Pressure Without a Container? With two containers, by the way. The can of butane and the pipe. Remember? Also, a false equivalence. To have a false equivalence, you need a comparison or a juxtaposition between two things. You only have gas pressure in a container. Or are you saying that the false equivalence is between the gas pressure and the container? I don't know, man. This is quite troubling, on a second grade coherence level.
Well, QE on a second grade level, your ability to comprehend simple English is rather disturbing. I'll grant you that. I drew a very clear distinction between pressurized gas in a closed system versus atmospheric pressure. In a closed system, we have several options available to us to achieve a pressure inside that closed system that is different from the pressure on the outside of it. One way we could do that is simply by pumping more gas into the closed volume. Another way is to reduce that volume to some other value, and that will increase the pressure. A third way would be to increase the temperature of the gas in that volume. That would also increase the pressure. Atmospheric pressure is completely different. Atmospheric pressure occurs simply due to the acceleration of gravity. That pipe I showed you is an open system. The top of it is wide open, yet we can measure a pressure in that pipe. That pressure is simply the acceleration of gravity, keeping the butane in the pipe, QE. Now that's what was demonstrated. You know what? Even Nathan has started to figure this out. Listen to this.
Now then, in the meantime, in that break, we had a question from Bearded Devil, who gave a £10 super chat to ask this, Nathan. So, please explain the difference between terms atmospheric pressure, gas pressure, and pressurized gas. Keyword difference.
Difference between atmospheric pressure,
gas pressure,
and pressurized gas.
Yes.
Okay. Pressurized gas would be a gas that's been like forced into a container, so you've got more of the gas compacted closer together. So that would be my understanding of a pressurized gas. Gas pressure is just the force it exerts on the walls of its container, measured in things like PSI. And what was the third one? Atmospheric pressure. That's just the pressure in our general surroundings. Hope that's satisfactory.
No. The last one was pressurized gas. Pressurized gas, atmospheric pressure, and gas pressure.
Yeah, I did that one first. So pressurized gas is like something that's been forced into a container. So you've got more of the gas, i.e. the molecules are forced to be closer together. That would be a pressurized gas.
Well, there you go, Kiwi. Even somebody as dumb as Nathan seems to be catching on. I'll tell you what, why don't you go ahead?
Trying to say gas pressure in a container is the same as atmospheric pressure, and they are not.
Oh, really? So atmospheric pressure is different than gas pressure? Isn't the atmosphere made of gases, making it gas pressure? So how can gas pressure be different than gas pressure?
The pressures are similar in nature. They're created by gas molecules bouncing off of surfaces, but the method of generating that pressure is totally different.
So in both instances, gas pressure is created by gas molecules bouncing off surfaces, but the method of generating the gas pressure is totally different. Did you know that a synonym for generate is create? So, essentially you said gas pressure is created by gas molecules bouncing off surfaces, but the method of creating the gas pressure is totally different. Can I ask you something? Do you make synthetic fur balls for ceramic cats?
The atmosphere depends strictly on gravity. Gravity is the container in that case, if you want to think of it that way, but it's not even really that.
Whoa there. So gravity is your container now? But it's not even really that? Does that make any sense to you? How about gravity as a container? Right? Let's look up container in Cambridge Dictionary. A hollow object such as a box or a bottle that can be used for holding something, especially to carry it or store it. So that denotes physicality to me. So, the thing that's really not that. Can you provide chemical structure, formula, charge, mass, momentum, or spin for gravity to give it physicality that's not even really that?
Here's a container that meets your definition, Kiwi. Let's see if it works. Let's try onions. They work pretty good. What about some mince? Oh yeah, definitely a good container for onions and mince. Let's try a little salt. Uh-oh. Doesn't seem to be a very good container for salt, Kiwi. You want to tell me again how an open-ended pipe is a gas container?
It's simply the acceleration of gravity pulling down on a mass of the gas, just like it pulls down, just like it accelerates everything else toward the earth. That's all. That's all you need.
So it's the acceleration of a non-physical container that's not really that, pulling down on a mass of a gas towards the earth?
So while the quantum pretender clown is busy trying to misunderstand the difference between gas pressure and atmospheric pressure, our friend Sloppy, the pseudo-lawyer, is over in Randy Flat Earth's channel, having a bit of a tirade of his own. Let's give a little listen to that.
Dickhead in chat now, BlueMarbleScience, still got that video of gas pressure without a container, yet he's got a pipe. And he ignores that that's the container that we say that you can't have to have gas pressure. And he thinks he lies to people about telling people that it's an open container. Yeah, that doesn't matter. The point is that you have a container and you are getting the gas pressure because of it. Because if you didn't have the pipe, then you wouldn't have a container and you could not have that pressure that you are recording with your device at the bottom. But he's still got the video up. And I'm like, how can you have the gall to come in this chat and sit there and say things like, I'll just quote what he's just put, he's thought, really sloppy, I'd say you're tired of getting your butt kicked. No, I'm just sick and tired of liars like you. You should be ashamed. You are an embarrassment to humanity, but you come in here and flippantly laugh at me or Ranty or whoever, yet you've got the audacity to have a video up saying gas pressure without a container, which then some dickhead that wrote a book on gravity and debunking claims of flat earthers. I mean, what flat earthers make claims? Not many claims are floating around on our side. We're just pointing out the errors in your side's claims of gravity, for example, where this dickhead then writes a book about gravity, doesn't even mention Einstein, the current science, and cite more video for gas pressure without a container. I mean, that's just the epitome of stupidity. Yet, we're the ones that are laughed at. It's just, you are embarrassed. You BlueMarbleScience. I don't even know what to do.
Well, Sloppy, you know, instead of being all butthurt by this, why don't you just admit you guys have been wrong all this time? I mean, I've shown you gas pressure in an open system. That should not occur. That cannot occur according to you guys. And the only reason that we can observe that is due to the acceleration of gravity, which you claim doesn't exist. Now look, living inside your head really isn't all that bad, Sloppy. There's plenty of room in here. But it does get to be a little tiring, I suppose, for you after a while. So, just be a nice guy and say, yep, we were wrong. You know what? Thanks for watching, folks. This has been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I hope you did. And if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. There's a link to the Blue Marble Patreon account. You'll find that up in the comments section, too. And I guess we'll catch you guys on the next one. Hey, Gladys. We're out of here.